And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to me and Faye, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations, or excuse me, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice, Trials and Tribulations. It's going to take me a while to get used to saying that. It's just that we're actually playing as me and Faye right now, which is quite interesting, and we're cross-examining Phoenix, which is also interesting. I don't know. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and start pressing stuff. I admit I was there. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened, anyway.
Objection! Something! You can't hide what happened! We have photographic evidence!
Achoo! 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 Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. A coincidence, huh? But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. You say you found the body, so who called the police? Huh?
Unfortunately, it's some other student that notified the police.
Other students?
That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw this defendant standing there next to the body in shock.
What? Is this true, Mr. Wright? Could you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind? Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body, but I hardly knew the guy to begin with. So you didn't know his face or even his name, right? Right. Well, no. That is, I mean... So, which is it? Did you know him or not? Now, see here! You can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day! Well, I guess I did know his name. News to me? Why didn't he tell me that before? I heard he used to date Dolly. Who is this Dolly person?
Ah, yes, that would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, I see. Ah, young love, so bittersweet. But that's all I knew about him! I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Oh, so how... Well, then again, I guess Dahlia could have told him that he was quote-unquote British, but I don't think that... I don't know. Mr. Wright, you stated the That's right, we're playing as Mia, not Phoenix. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right, I mean, would I even... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Achoo! Well, Mr. Wright? Ah, no, it wasn't me! I'm not a killer, I swear! Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe? Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Did you see that Slow down, Mia. We need to enunciate properly here. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean. Yes, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff. See? It's true. Cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it! He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night. Although salmon doesn't have a very fishy flavor, which is why it tends to be served as a fish thing for most places, because its lack of fishy taste. So that's not a very good comparison, Mia. May I ask you something, Miss Faye? Yes, Your Honor. What is it now? Who is the person anyway, this Union Jack fellow?
The Union Jack is the name of the flag of England!
Oh, I see. So you mean like the Stars and Stripes, right?
As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me.
Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now? Mia, there is a contradiction here. Mr. Grossberg, Quickly now, show that boy you mean business, with evidence I mean. Okay, Mia, check the court record carefully. Well, my dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point? I can handle it myself. Do I need help? I can handle it. 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle this myself. You mustn't try to bite off more than you can chew, Mia. I'll be fine. I know what I have to do. Remember, you can always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof. Okay, Mia. One more time from the very beginning of his testimony. Alright. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. This is the first time that I'm just using my regular voice for the witness, or for the, cross-examination, and it actually fits. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Now we're gonna go ahead and save, why don't we? Now, as per usual, as the Ace Attorney usually goes, the added witness testimony that we get, the added thing is usually what we're supposed to present evidence to. So he was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Let's look at the picture. Oops, does he have one on the back of his shirt? Let me check. I feel that's like the obvious thing to do. I don't see one on the back. He's wearing a jacket. He's wearing a jacket, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Come on. Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back. Miss Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing written on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute! He's wearing a leather jacket! The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that really was the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have... Is this what the music is supposed to be for this one when we're onto something? Okay, whatever. You'd have no idea what he was wearing underneath that jacket! Mr. Wright! You've been lying to me! Please forgive me! Why is he crying? Come on! Mia, you've made our client cry! Let him! That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyways! Oh, you don't mean what... like prick or something? I can't believe I trusted him! Mr. Wright was all wrong!
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination! Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me! It's quite clear that this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime!
Uh-oh. Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it?
Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine that you took the over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
Yeah, that's right! It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X?
Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. He lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case? I'm going to assume that the thing actually wasn't open to begin with, so he's going to use that as evidence that we're pretending to have a cold.
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Huh?
Your Honor, I'd like you to take a look at another photo from the crime scene.
Oh, come on! What's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X! Yes, I've gotten a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belonged to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints were all over it.
What?
Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright.
I need to work on my reading. I don't know why I'm... When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Slow down here. Order! Order in the court!
Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence.
Very well. The court will accept them into the record. Crime photo 2 added to the court record. Cold Killer X added to the court record.
Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Excuse me. Yes, it caused destruction when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of an explanation for all of this?
This is really bad. Oh, my buttocks. My poor hemorrhoids. Witness testimony. What really happened? The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then at around 3 o'clock we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Mr. Wright, that's completely different than the testimony you gave previously! Achoo! 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 I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth!
You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible!
Miss Faye, please begin your cross-examination. Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. What really happened? Okay, first and foremost, what we're going to do is save, because that's what we always do every time that we do a new cross-examination. Because I don't want to... This is the first case, so I doubt it's going to be so hard that it's going to... Because I'm still in fourth case of trials of justice, and I'm still on the fourth case of Justice for All syndrome right now. Like, I'm in that mindset, like, where everything's super hard, need to constantly check the court record and everything, but it's the first case, it's not going to be that hard. The victim's watch stopped at the time of death. Touch the check button for details. Wait a minute. Stopped at the time of death? What? Okay, so I'm no expert. Okay, what time does that say? I mean, well, the photograph doesn't necessarily have to be, but it stopped at the time of death, right? So, okay, so 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, that's like 3:05, I guess? I don't know. Alright, let's look at this. Found clutch of the victim's hand covered in Wright's fingerprints. Well, we have an alibi for that, so... I think this is just one of those ones where we're supposed to just press everything. The truth is, I wanted... Why can I not read? I was doing so well at reading in the previous episode, too. The truth is, I went because he called me. Had you ever met the victim before then? No, never! But... that day, he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly. And this Dolly person is... my, it's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart. What? What was that for, Mia? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim! Murder victim, Doug Swallow! Before she met Mr. Wright, that is!
So it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see. It's like school days. Where was I going with this? He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both there right on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist? I see. I gotta admit it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. Oh ho, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man. What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details? About timing of the meeting, about pharmacology department. Let's go with the about pharmacology department. Well, whatever. Timing of the meeting. So, are you absolutely certain that you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure. That's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something. Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway.
Witness, let's go on with your testimony.
We talked for a bit, and then at around 3 o'clock, we split up. So what was it you were talking about? You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime. Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. So you say you went back? Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up. Achoo! Achoo! Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of the year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly, just the 2 of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Ouch! Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. Well, Mia? I don't know. I can't seem to find any contradictions. The boy isn't exactly what I'd call a natural-born liar, you know. But still, we can't have him continue to spout nonsense. I know, but what can I do? Well, I'm certain he must still be hiding something. Information! Right now, it's information we need more than anything else. Wow, this is the most useful that I've ever seen Grossberg, because he was not useful at all. Well, I mean, he was kind of useful in the first game. Second case of the first game, to be exact. The one with the red-white, where we had to defend Maya for quote-unquote killing Mia. He was in the emergency. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. There was the other thing that we needed to press. So, what did I choose the first time? Let's see, it wasn't filled. Ho-ho, that's fascinating. What did I do? I chose the timing of the meeting. Let's go with about pharmacology department. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much about it, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. That's right, and they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere. Oh, high-voltage cables. Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death, and the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted. What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there is one mystery that still remains. There is, Your Honor. How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct? Well, that is... You are correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? I guess we'll talk about that in the next episode. Awkward pause.